milestones. See, you can't help but look over there. One of the biggest milestones you might have with your babies is when they start to crawl and when they start to walk. So please welcome Nanny Robina. We're going to talk a little bit about these developmental milestones because parents can drive themselves a little bit crazy about when things should be happening and how they're happening. It's different for every baby. Just like Kathy said, your teens are all different, your babies are all different. They all have different personalities and they're all going to do things at different times.
Yeah, and I think we're all guilty of thinking, because Mrs. Jones next door, baby started crawling at 6-7 months, my baby should be 2, and now she's delayed because she's not crawling at the same time.
Right.
It really isn't. Every baby is different. And, you know, if anything, when you go for your checkups, if your baby has any concerns, you know, if you have any concerns with your baby, your doctor's probably going to pick up on it or chat with your pediatrician about it. Generally speaking, the baby should be often crawling round about the age of 7-8 months.
Around 7-8 months. So take a look at the video here. We've got this cute little crawler here going for the remote control. If that's a boy, it's never going to end. They will always go for that remote control. Very cute. Okay, so it's nice to give parents a range that they can work towards when it comes to crawling. They don't all crawl the same way. They're not always going to look like that when they're crawling.
No, there are several types of crawl. You know, you've got the combat crawl, and you've got the bunny crawl, and every baby will find its way of crawling. I'll tell you something. I had a neighbor back in England, and the two women, the one baby actually had a hip problem. So he shuffled around on his bum. And you know, my friend's baby did exactly the same. Exactly, to the point that this baby who shuffled on his bum had a bit of a handicap because of the hip. So you would have thought the other baby also had a handicap because he imitated him exactly. But babies will actually find their own way of crawling. You know, and they'll try. Sometimes they're on the floor, you'll see arms and legs going, and they're lying on the tummy and getting nowhere. You know, and eventually the next step is they find whether they're going to go on their bum, whether they're going to bring their knee up and do an army crawl. You know, there are so many types. But you have to allow them to actually find their way to do it.
They got to figure out their own swagger, mom and dad.
Exactly.
They got to figure it out. So we have a baby right here. What's the name of your baby?
Maya.
Maya?
Mael.
Mael. Mael has a very cool crawl. So it's a lot of tummy going on, a lot of upper body action. Mael really likes your shoes. So that's what's going on right there. But check that out. Like, I love it. Let them develop it the way they want. A lot of them also start by crawling. You're perfect. A lot of them start by crawling backwards.
Backwards, yes. That's funny too, because
2 backwards crawlers.
A lot of babies do, and I know some parents get concerned, but it's nothing. Eventually they figure it out. You know, one of the things you can do too at home, let me tell you, is sometimes the rug can be too slippy. Is get your baby up on one of the Pilates rugs. It has a bit more grip. You know, and that actually helps. Put toys just at the reach of your baby so your baby will move forward and start. What I also see, Tracy, sometimes is if you have a second or third sibling, they will actually develop a little later because you've always got somebody passing you something. So the baby may not be in a hurry to walk or crawl.
I thought they might crawl even earlier.
If they're getting trodden on, if they're getting walked on by their older sibling, they're going to get up and walk fast. But sometimes if they've got an older sibling who constantly passes things, they're in no hurry to crawl.
Okay. All right. So crawling, a different range for when your kids might do it, and let them do it the way they want. Let's talk about walking now.
Walking, next stage.
So many parents go through that very uncomfortable phase, which you've managed to completely skip, but the phase where you're doing a whole bunch of this. Right? The back going. How old is she?
11 and a half months.
11 and a half months. So you've been able to fix this whole problem with these. What are these called, Nanny?
Well, you know, these are called walking wings, and I got them offline, but they sell them at various stores now. I got them from iaco.com, and they do. And you know what? Catherine was just saying, she's tried them for the first time today and she loves them. It takes the stress out of holding your baby. You know, you're stooping over like this. It does take the stress and the strain off your back a little.
Absolutely.
Now, I do want to point out the walker that Olivia has here. Babies are not encouraged to actually use walkers. You know, she is being supervised with it. Walkers are banned here in Canada. But there are some toys out there that have wheels that the babies will get from A to B.
Very cool. Okay, we have to watch this video a little bit because this is the cutest thing ever when they've just learned to walk and they're Frankenstein. So he was doing the little shuffle all the way around the floor to get to the
That was
sippy
hard
cup.
work.
That was work. That's
that
the
was
reward.
work that made him thirsty.
You've earned it. Now, if you have a child at a certain age, there we go with the shuffle. There we go with the shuffle. Frankenstein. So cute. If you have a child, at what age are you concerned that they're not walking?
Well, a lot of babies are actually starting to walk like 9, 10 months.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be that unusual. 18 months, I can tell you now, I know at least 3 or 4 people, the babies haven't walked till 18 months.
Yeah.
That is quite late, and I do think, you know, you can do some encouraging things and get them up a bit sooner if you put your own work into it.
Yeah.
I think once they've turned 18 months, you may want to speak to your pediatrician. He may want to take a look and see what's happening. It's still nothing to be concerned about. You know, some are just lazy walkers. They just choose not to walk at this time.
Yeah.
You know,
they're doing their own thing,
They're
and
doing their
people
own
are
thing.
bringing
They're
them
not in a
snacks.
hurry.
And why? Why should I? Very good. Great tips.